Hey there, Chris here. This week I took a look at... Is this really Cthulhu wearing a life preserver? Safety first.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vessa. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we take a look at the videos we do the past week and we talk about them in short summaries, and then if you want to see the full video, you can click links in the description. This is actually 2 weeks in review because both last week we did the 12 games of Christmas, so there wasn't many reviews, so just a couple things of note to mention from that week.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. So last week I reviewed Flower Fields, which I gave a 7 out of 10 to. Flower Fields is a tile laying game, polyomino game, with some really neat, tight economy. But I found the game to, while very interesting to play, the scoring was a little less than thrilling, sort of the same things we've seen in the past. And I found it to not have very many high highs and low lows. It's an even-keeled game. It's got some interesting stressors as far as, I don't have enough of the currency, which happens to be bees in the game, to do something I want to do, but that's about the blips and the drama in the game. Good. Certainly would recommend it if you are a fan of tile laying games or polyomino games, more specifically if you like patchwork, that sort of thing. I think you'll enjoy this one. For me, I wanted a little bit more oomph. And then I reviewed Saltfjord, which I give an 8.5 to. This one is a tremendous, crunchy, interesting, dice-driven game in which you are fishing, you are advancing on a few different tracks, you are trying, it's Euro game. It's very, you know what you're getting into. It's sort of based on Santa Maria, which I really like. I like even better than this one, because I find it to be a little bit cleaner, and it certainly looks better as well. But if you want the crunchier of the two, if you want a little more going on, a little more to gnaw on, then Saltfjord, with a few clever strokes of mechanisms, is going to give you a really engaging, worthwhile adventure on which to go. I enjoy it a lot, and I think you are too, if you can put up with the look not being the best, being the main detractor for me. And that's going to do it, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, Chris here. First off this week is Bebop, a game that I gave an 8. An interesting tile-laying game where the tile is kind of composite of two features, both a tile on the outside and then a die that you place on a later turn on the inside. Very reminiscent of the Knizia game Samurai, of which I'm a fan. I think I like this one actually maybe a little bit more. I'll have to go back and play the original Samurai to kind of compare and contrast a little more, but very neat tile-laying game, fun tension, simple rule set, quick play, an 8 from me. Next up, Hot Pot Holic, also an 8. A great trick-taking game that kind of surprised me. It's very cutesy artwork and everything, but some nice decisions. And the whole game plays in one hand. 8 tricks is basically the whole thing. And I love that level of tension in a game as you're trying to put food into the pot, pull food out, and then on a separate turn, eat the food. And you only score off the food that you manage to eat. So an 8. And lastly, Saltfjord, I give an 8.5. An excellent game. This one also kind of a development or so of an older game, Santa Maria. Fun dice drafting. A lot of actions that you get to trigger and some really great considerations. I wish the game looked a little bit nicer, but that's the only real ding I have against it. An 8.5 for me.
Hi, I'm Joey Evans, and here are the games I reviewed this week. First off, it was Dead Cells, which is a roguelike game. I thought this was fine. I thought it was good. I like the Slay the Spire more, but I gave that a 7. I also did the Firefly Anniversary Edition, the big box. Kind of went into how it all fits in there, and I gave that an 8.5. And also, I found out that this microphone isn't real. Those are the games I reviewed this week.
Hi, Wendy Yee, and I have 4 games coming at you for the last 2 weeks. The first one is a 7, and this is Hello Kitty Day at the Park. Now, this has that look of a kid's game, and I think you can play it with older kids, that kind of like 9, 10, 11, 12 range. But I also just enjoyed it myself. I found this to be a fun game. You're going around and you're moving a couple spaces. You're collecting items depending on all those spaces that you go, and then also that last space that you happen to land on gives you discounts for trading in activities that you're trying to fulfill at the park. So I think that it's very cute. It's got that fun Hello Kitty theme to it, and yeah, it's a positive experience for me. All right, my next game is Hot Pot Holic. This I gave a 7.5, and this is a trick-taking game. But instead of following suit in the trick, you just have to play a different number than somebody else. And the theme is that you're all pulling from this hot pot in the middle by playing the tricks, and then you're collecting little items. And so this is one of those that if you win the trick, you get to move up your heat track, which helps you get endgame points. But then you get to collect less food from the pot, whereas the worse you do in the trick, the more food you get from the pot and the more you can eat. And so you want to get that food, and then to be able to score it, you want to be able to actually eat it. And then you're trying to meet objectives. So I think that it's very clever the way that trick-taking element is really simple, but useful. And then those cards come out into the pot next round for you to grab later. So there's some interesting setup there. All right, finally, the last game on my list is Salt Fjord. This one I gave a 9. Absolutely loved it. I am not familiar with its predecessor, Santa Maria, but I love it. I love this idea of placing dice on rows or columns depending on the colors. You draft them, and then you're just triggering off all these different actions that are in those columns, and then you have to leave the die at the end so it's blocking spaces. I think this game has a ton of different choices when it comes to your strategies. You can go off in a lot of different directions. So definitely excellent game for me. So there you go. Those are the 4 games. If you're interested in any of those, check out those reviews. In the meantime, let's go ahead and see who's next.
Hey there, everybody. It's Mike DeLisio, and for these last couple of weeks, I was part of reviews for 2 games that I really enjoyed a lot. First up is Bebop, which I gave an 8.5. This is essentially an abstract tile-laying game with a theme of attendees going to a jazz concert. And it's a really clean design, simple rule set, satisfying gameplay, pretty quick. A lot of things that I like in this one, and it looks beautiful with some wonderful Weberson Santiago artwork. Next up is Dead Cells, which I also gave an 8.5 to, a seal of excellence to both of these games. Dead Cells is based off of a video game of the same name, and it is a roguelite game where you're going to be going through a succession of runs. And so it's a unique board game in the sense that it doesn't really have a defined scope of play. You're usually not going to be like playing, you don't play in rounds, and you don't play to a certain number of points. You just play until you feel satisfied, and you're going to continue to go further and then die and then come back and respawn and keep going like that. So a really cool implementation of a video game in board game form. That's Dead Cells. All right, well, that's going to do it for me these last couple of weeks. See you next time.
I reviewed some games this week. I want to be clear. I reviewed a lot of games. 32 different games and a bunch of 6 games I played so you don't have to. 7 short party games. 6 games I played and you should too. There's several of those videos up. For bigger reviews, I reviewed Marvel The Fin Fang Foom. I gave that a 7. I really like the bad guy. It's a fun miniature, but I'm just not going to use it that often. And you only get 1. And Dead Cells got a 7. This is a roguelike game. It's fun. It's interesting. You have to kind of go in knowing what you're getting in for because it's not really as much of a game as you die and then you come back and you go and you die and you come back and you just keep doing that over and over again. Star Wars Twilight of the Republic. I really love this game a lot. Star Wars Unlimited. And Twilight of the Republic is the 3rd set. Very good one. 9 out of 10. And then the Marvel Sinister Six, or actually it's called Maximum Carnage. I keep calling it Sinister Six. It's Maximum Carnage. This is the new Sinister Six where you can mix up teams from all over, and so much content in that box. 6 more villains. The new Sinister Six. The Maximum Carnage part of the box. And then you being able to stick together all the other folks from Sinister Six. It's just absolutely fantastic. I also did the best-selling games of October from Board Game Bliss, and we had all of our live stuff, including our top 10 Push Your Luck games. We played Acquire Live, we played Robo Rally Live, so there's a lot of videos for you to check out. I hope you enjoy them. This week, we're going to have fewer videos than normal. We'll have some of our videos going up this week, but there's less because we're prepping for next week, which is the Winter Spectacular, where you're going to see so many end-of-the-year lists and lots of cool games being played. But we'll talk about that then. Until then, no, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vassell.
8.5. And also I found out that this microphone isn't real.